Hey guys, Mr. Biz, Ken Wentworth here, and thought I'd give you some better background than usual here. I mean, make it a little more interesting. Although, don't get distracted. Got a good one for you today. Good message today. So, I've run into this with some of my clients. Just ran into it with someone today that I mentor. I was talking with them about some goals they have, some things they want to get done, and they're just not sure where to start. You know, how do I even tackle this? It's a huge undertaking. What do I even do? And so it reminded me of a situation that I was in all the way back when I was 12 years old, which was, a couple, 2, 3, I don't know, years ago, whatever. Uh, and that is that of when you have something, a big goal you want to tackle, or a big new project maybe you want to take on, but you're just not even sure where to start, how to make it happen. So let me share with you a quick little story about how I applied this exact concept back all the way when I was 12 years old. So this is definitely going to date me. When I was 12, I wanted a computer. Computers back then were not the way they were now. There was no Apple. There was none of that. You couldn't get a laptop, anything like that. So I wanted a Commodore 64. So those of you who might be my age or older might know what that is. It's definitely not around anymore. It might be used as a doorstop somewhere, although it's giant, so probably not. But anyway, it was a Commodore 64. Well, I remember it was 200 bucks. And we didn't have a lot when I was growing up, and my parents couldn't afford to get it for me, although they wanted to support me and get it for me, all that stuff. They couldn't do it. I also played for sports growing up, and so there wasn't a lot of time between, games, practices, all that stuff. I had very limited time to where I could earn money and things. And so I started figuring out, okay, I really want this computer. That was my big goal, my big project I wanted to take on. How the heck can I get this thing, right? So, as a 12-year-old, what can you do? Well, a lot of 12-year-old boys and girls, maybe you mow lawns, right? So you can mow lawns. Well, I lived in an area where we lived on a giant hill. A gazillion houses on a big giant hill in good old Mingo Junction, Ohio. And, yep, that's actually the name. Not Petticoat Junction, Mingo Junction. Shout out to Sons of the Red and Black out there. But anyway, we lived on a hill, so my parents wouldn't let me. It was dangerous, super steep hills, as far as having a 12-year-old try to push a big old mower and things like that. And so they wouldn't let me do it. So now what do I do? Now how do I make money? So I would go out and do some odd jobs, sometimes at my grandparents' house that they would do, but I couldn't get to 200 bucks, right? Especially because, again, I had practices all the time. My grandparents' house was, half hour away. I had to find someone to take me there. Big pain in the butt. Well, what I figured out was, and again, this is another thing that will date me, so don't judge me, but nonetheless, I figured out that I could be a paper delivery boy. This is back when you could get newspapers delivered to your house. So I could do that at 12 years old. So I reached out to the local paper and figured out what I needed to do to get that job. Great, I got it solved. I'm gonna make my 200 bucks. Not so fast. So I start delivering papers. I go around the first week and I collect, and I have to pay for the newspapers, right, that I delivered. And I collect, and I figure out how much money I'm gonna make each week. I start calculating the number of weeks I can work until the next sports season started. I'm not going to get there. I'm not going to wait a whole other year, right? I got to make this happen. So what the heck do I do? Well, I figured out, how can I make more money? Well, I can make more money with tips. People would give you tips for delivering a newspaper. So I literally went around as a 12-year-old and asked, put in the newspaper, a little paper survey. What does good service look like to you? What would it take to, give a good tip, blah, 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 that kind of thing. Send it out. I delivered papers to, I want to say, 70-some houses. I can't remember how many, but it was 70-some houses. Did it, almost everyone did it. Submitted it back to me when I went and delivered the paper the next day or 2 days later, whatever. I got the surveys back, figured out what I need to do to provide the top service to get the best tips. So I get through a couple of weeks of that and figure out, holy crap, I'm going to get to my 200 bucks in the time frame I need. So this is going to be a good thing, right? So this is an example of the concept of, and Grant Cardone talks about this as well, but something like this, you have an opportunity presented to you, a big project, a new goal you have that you really want to tackle. Commit to the goal, and I mean commit to it, and then figure it out later. Because guess what? When you commit and you go all in, you will figure it out. I promise you. I promise you. Think about the things in your life that you have really fully committed to, and how many times have you come up short on those goals. I'm willing to bet you it's been almost never. I'm not talking about, yeah, I really want to do this. I'm talking about I am going to freaking do this. That kind of commitment. You will make it happen. You will figure it out. Look, if I did this as a 12-year-old, you can do this too. Commit to something. Again, Grant Cardone talks about it. Commit to it. Tell your customer yes. And then go back and have your, oh shit, how am I going to get this done meeting with your team? But you'll figure it out. There's going to be a whole bunch of different things you need to do, but you will make it happen. Believe in yourself and do that. Commit and figure it out later. You can do this. Like I said, I did this as a 12-year-old, for crying out loud, and I do it today sometimes. Every once in a while, something will pop up. And I try not to hesitate. I'm an analytical person, so I want to analyze things. Oh, how am I going to do this? Don't do it. Commit to it and figure out how to freaking make it happen. Get the people you need in your network to help you. Get your team to help you. Get your team to commit. All that kind of stuff. You can do it. That's what you need to do. Commit to something and make it happen. That's the message for today. These are the kind of things we talk about in my online program. Go out to MrBizProgram.com. You can check it out there. Would love to see you in the next session. Love helping business owners get past some of those hurdles, some of those inevitable challenges that we all face on a regular basis. There's no need to spin your wheels. And this is for businesses of all shapes and sizes, all different parts of their life cycle. You might be a startup. You might be in business for 10 years and sort of hit a lull and don't know how to sort of get the engine running again. A whole bunch of all different areas. And this is, a series of professional videos you get each week over 5 weeks. And you also get me one-on-one and once a week. So we'll talk about, how to implement those things for your business, how to help you over those hurdles and things like that. I would love to see you in the next session. More people we can help, the better it is, right? So go out to MrBizProgram.com, check that out, MrBizProgram.com. Love to see you guys. Thanks for watching. And again, if there's any videos you'd ever like to hear me talk about, business-related things, topics, all that kind of stuff, let me know. Shoot me a message. Message me on our Facebook page, Mr. Biz Solutions, or whatever. Get a hold of us. We'd love to cover a video, some topics. I actually have some topics coming up that people have given feedback on recently that they want to see. We'll be talking about those soon, so stay tuned for that. We'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.